The storm center is pushing away. And as I say that, we get hit by one of the strongest gusts I've seen all afternoon. And there we are. We're under a much lower, but still a category of severe storms. The one that means isolated or marginal. Here's a detailed look at what that means. But Lauren, you probably caught on to this. It gets warm again, and then it gets stormy again, because that's the way this pattern works. I don't even know what to say. I act surprised, but I'm really not surprised, because it is the season. It's that time of year. But I am looking forward to Monday and Tuesday. Those look nice. Gorgeous days overall. It's a shame, though, that the weekend is going to be one of those stay inside and stay warm weekends. Yeah, we'll have to wait. Right along here, this brighter corridor of light green, which is probably 50, 60 mile an hour wind gust. That's going to likely travel, again, through South Ridge and eventually downtown Charleston. There is a tornado on the ground north of Highway 133 moving toward Ellington. Those folks in Ellington, you got to get inside now, because there is ground confirmed truth here. There is debris being lofted by this system, but I have to call out a fellow coworker. All right? Now, she's not working today, so she doesn't really have the venue to defend herself, but Danielle Dindak broke this, okay? And this is the remain. Look at this. This is sad. There's no face. There's nothing. But underneath it, a bit of some ice and some muck, considering we've been seeing freezing rain. This road here is an accurate representation of what you might be seeing along I-64. Nothing too concerning if you're a spring fan, because obviously it's going to be nice weather. That's why I'm wearing a polo shirt and shorts in January. Very, very localized. So areas perhaps near the Greenbrier exit, you're looking at clear conditions, but at that foggy site, take a look. It's quite dense in terms of the overall fog. You're going to see it in just a moment. Yeah. As you can see, the visibility drops sharply, so it's highly localized. Just take it a little easy. This is going to be moving in this kind of motion due northeast. So Calhoun County, parts of Jackson County, parts of Liberty County are going to encounter winds that, I hate to be blunt here, but they can be pretty much compared to what you could see with tornado-like winds here. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures across the region. We are back in the 50s to near 60 degrees. Can we get to 70 today? No, but we will get into at least the mid-60s. I don't think we're going to get to the 70s for a few days, as a matter of fact. We're on a downward trend as cooler air from the northwest works its way in. It's 58 in Charleston, 60 Point Pleasant, 55 Huntington, down into the south 50s as well. It's the higher terrain, the mountains, where temperatures are hovering more in the 40s, evident with the blue color coinciding with 40s like in Elkins, Clarksburg, and Lewisburg. For our area, as you can see, we're likely going to stay level for the next few hours. This model says 59. I think we could be a few degrees warmer, but I do believe the trend is the same, meaning we're going to stay level and not warm up much more before that gradual dip in the temperatures as rain pushes in from the west and northwest. The radar hasn't shown much activity, but trust me, there is some rain lingering off to the west. Here you go. You can kind of see that line paralleling the tri-state. This is pushing into, of course, our area. It's not going to be a washout. It's a rather thin line, but it's producing heavy rain and breezy winds. And on the back end of this, you can see this broad swirl. That's an upper low that was once associated with all of the storms that impacted areas to the west. Now it's kind of separating from the storms down south. And by the way, they're still flaring on up, though over the last few hours they have dissipated. That's good news. That upper low is now our big feature. And let me explain. We have this cold front and a low pressure system off the outer banks of the Carolinas that's pushing to the east and northeast. There's the upper low. That still has energy with it, and it's going to be driving in winds from the northwest. And that low itself is going to keep the atmosphere somewhat agitated. It's going to allow for rain, maybe even some snow to form. Why do I say snow? Because that wind out of the north is a colder wind, even in April. Now, is it going to be a highly measurable snow? No, nothing like that, so you don't have to worry. But this forcing is going to stick with us through Friday. And even into Saturday, we're going to have some rain on Friday with cooler winds. And take a look at those blue echoes showing up. That's the radar, or at least the Futurecast radar, suggesting that some snow can blend on in. And it makes sense. Temperatures aloft will be cold, and winds coming in from the northwest will support a cooler air mass. Now, today, we're in the 50s to 60s, so no wintry precip. It's just rain, and it drives on through in a scattered fashion. Later on tonight, we quiet down. But watch, as Friday brings more rain, maybe some of those snow showers blended on in, because it will be colder tomorrow, but still not cold enough to, I think, produce widespread snow. Saturday morning gets us a pretty good chance at that, but also notice how It's kind of blended in all over the place. This suggests that temperatures will be close enough to that freezing mark, but the thermal profile won't support snow everywhere. So remember last Saturday how we had cloudy skies with passing on and off rain showers embedded with the occasional snow shower? Look at that. It's a repeat performance for your Saturday. So if you want to get outdoors tomorrow, or Saturday, I should say, probably not the best day to do so. Speaking of getting outdoors, today is honestly not that bad to do so. The severe outlook is 0, but we're under the light green. That means rain and storms are still possible. And again, we have that line coming in from the west paralleling Huntington. And you can see, according to this graph here, that the rain chance kind of sticks with us through Friday and even into Saturday. Until after that, I don't really think we're going to break away from this rain or snow chance. You can see with the extended forecast that we have some probability through Sunday, and then we're quiet for a few days, Monday and Tuesday, and it's back to being warm. It's going to take some time. This will be an all-afternoon, early evening event for a good chunk of the viewing area, and that extreme wind warning is just an example. We're lasting until 4:15. Even though it's a fast mover, it's still got a lot of real estate this thing has got to travel through before it starts to push even into southwest Georgia. Here's a look at Titan radar as of around 1:18 p.m. In most cases, when it comes to these kinds of tropical cyclones, when you look at the heavier rain, the winds are typically moving at stronger speeds with the rains in most cases here. So when you get the heavier downpour, you can sometimes get a gust of around 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. And that likelihood of stronger gusts really increases here. So this next feeder band right here, the one that's starting to push through Liberty County right now, that's to the east of Wilma, pushing towards Sopchoppy, this is going to be rotating into an area perhaps near Lake Talquin, perhaps approaching Tallahassee. This isn't that strong extreme wind corridor, but this is still going to be stronger than the band that you've already seen move through the capital city earlier. Right now, you're getting light to moderate rain, and the wind gusts are definitely up there, but they're not really as strong as what you're going to be seeing further to the south and west, because the closer you get, each and every persistent band after that first one, it's only going to get stronger. And like I said before, that core, this core right here, that is the most powerful part in terms of the overall wind flow. That's the wind damage, of course. That's what we've been talking about for the last couple of minutes here. I stress if you're along Highway 98, or hopefully you're not because of the evacuations that were in place, but because of this onshore flow and because the bands are going to get closer with the stronger winds, that water level is also going to start to rise as well. Cass mentioned this earlier. This is a multi-threat kind of event, and most hurricanes are usually like that, where you get the rain, you get the wind, you get the tornadoes sometimes, and you also get the storm surge, which in most cases is typically the most dangerous part here. And also, right along the coast, when you're getting wind speeds right now of around 58 miles per hour, Tyndall having a wind speed at 86. Yeah, 86 miles per hour. That's a current wind sustain. That's not a hurricane gust. That's a hurricane force wind. The gusts can no doubt get higher than that. 86, by the way, is mid-range Cat 1, and the strongest core of that is still offshore, so it can no doubt get higher. Apalachicola, you're at 58. Tallahassee, 21. The gusts sometimes, you got 84. I think that's the strongest one we've seen so far, Cass. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've seen 60s and 70s in Apalachicola. I don't know if we've seen an 84.
Yeah, 84 I think is the peak for.
Yeah, so Apalachicola already at 84 miles per hour. That's the strongest gust. And you got that onshore flow now starting to move in. And remember, even though the gusts aren't always going to be at 80, Apalachicola's already got a few recorded sites that, if I'm not mistaken, are over 6.5 feet underwater due to that storm surge level. And remember, the forecast was up to 12 feet in some spots. That onshore flow is still going to continue for a few hours. And like we said earlier, this is not to try to scare you into anything, but at the same time, this is the kind of seriousness you have with a strong, strong hurricane.